What's up, everybody? Bandit here again with another blast off into the whiskey verse with this Whiskies of the Galaxy Flaviar Advent Calendar. So this is going to be day 6. So go ahead and open up the box and get it going. So first things first, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Pull that guy out. And then we're going to look for day 6. Just pop this guy open. Pull out our little vial. And so this is going to be another product of the USA. So far we've had 4, to include this one, that have been products of the USA, 1 Israeli and 1 Australian. So go ahead and open this guy up and see what she smells like. Oh, also forgot to mention that this ABV is going to be 57.5%. So it's going to be a little bit stronger than 100 proof. So it's got a strong smell to it. I'll give it that. It is very, like, I almost wonder if there might be a rye. I'm not 100% sure off the smell alone. So we're gonna go ahead and pour this into our glass here and give it a taste. All right, so give this another smell out of the glass, see if it is a little bit easier to tell. It's definitely got a strong smell, I will give it that. But we're gonna go ahead and give it a taste and see what we can pick up on for tasting notes. That is very good. Very nice warming sensation. Just feel it traveling back up. I love that. This is not a rye whatsoever. At least not that I can taste. And I would say err to the side of saying this is probably a bourbon over a whiskey. Yeah, it's good. Definitely got some strength to it. We'll set that right there in camera. All right, so we're gonna break out the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy and see what it says about it. So that's day 13, 9, 5. All right, so Penelope bourbon. It's gonna be barrel strength bourbon. So can't really tell what the label on the bottle itself says besides barrel strength, but its tasting notes that they list are going to be fruit, syrup, citrus, black cherry, oak, which is again common for any whiskey or bourbon. You're going to have that oak taste or that woody taste, grain, orange zest, caramel, which is again going to be in any whiskey or bourbon for the most part, and smoky. So smoky and oak, I've seen the other ones listed as woody, but that is going to be your charred oak barrels that give it that smoky oak taste. So we're going to go ahead and scan this QR code and see what the website has to say about it. All right, so Penelope Bourbon Barrel Strength Batch 6. It's going to be an 8 out of 10 with 17 votes. A 750 milliliter bottle is going to run you $70, $69.99 on their website. So there's the flavor spiral, the same tasting notes that was listed in the book. All right, and now the about. So Penelope is easy to fall in love with. This bourbon just keeps getting better. Mike Palladini and his wife Carrie had long agreed that if they had a daughter, she would be named Penelope. In 2018, they had that daughter, named her as intended, and founded Penelope Bourbon at the same time with Mike's childhood friend, Danny Pelice. As many startup spirit companies do, they have launched with little outside help, in this case distilling and aging in Indiana at MGP and expert blending and bottling assistance from Castle Rock in Kentucky, whom they proudly call part of their team. And the team is working with 2 successful releases under their belt and a fistful of awards already in hand. Penelope Bourbon Barrel Strength just seems to get better with each batch. Now we're at batch 6, and it has us super excited again. It's a blend of 3 MGP bourbons comprised of 4 grains: corn, wheat, rye, and malt. So actually there is rye in it. Not a very prominent rye taste, but apparently there is rye. Aged 3.5 to 4.5 years in the New American Oak, with a number 4 char on the staves and number 2 char on the heads. Naturally, it's uncut and non-chill filtered. The 115.8 proof bourbon is a little gem of a whiskey with plenty of awards to show for it. But most importantly, it's just a mighty fine sipper. And then Doug Dogson's Smartass Corner. Straight bourbon must be matured for at least 2 years. If a bottle has no age statements, it's at least 4 years old. Bourbon is a new barrel spirit. One of the legal requirements of bourbon is that it has to be aged in brand new oak charred barrels. Remember that iconic poster from World War II showing Rosie the Riveter and a patriotic American woman doing her part for the war effort? Well, hundreds of businesses did their part too, and the bourbon distillers stepped right up with them. Distilleries all over Kentucky and Tennessee were retooled to distill fuel alcohol and ferment penicillin cultures to treat wounded soldiers. I didn't know that. That's actually very interesting. In November 2015, MGP announced the first ever house brand Metsy's Select Indiana Straight Whiskey. It is a blend of their high rye bourbons named after the master distiller who retired that year. It is not yet available on the market. Bourbons are very high in vanilla, as American white oak is naturally high in vanillins. And back to the beginning. So some interesting facts there about World War II with the bourbon distilleries actually turning around to help out with the war effort. I didn't know that. So I definitely found that one interesting. This is a very, very good bourbon. I am pleasantly surprised with this. It is strong, but it is still smooth in the same process, with a very nice warming sensation coming up after you take your sip. For ranking, it's getting more difficult. So through the book, if you're just now tuning in, we had previous days. Day 5 was Noble Oak. Day 4 was Starward Twofold, which is an Australian whiskey. We had Milk and Honey, which is an Israeli single malt. Day 2 was Catoctin Creek, which is a rye. And day 1 was Wyoming whiskey. So from my ranking thus far, I put Milk and Honey as last place. Wyoming whiskey, so out of 6 now, so that would be Milk and Honey in 6th place, Wyoming in 5th, Australian in Starward in 4th, and now I'm having a tough time between Catoctin Creek, Noble Oak, and Penelope Bourbon. I think I might give Penelope the number 1 and keep the Catoctin Creek and the Noble Oak tied for 2nd place. And then next would be the Australian. After that, Wyoming whiskey, and last place, Israeli single malt. I think that's how I'm going to place it. This is a very, very good bourbon. But if you have any questions, or if you've had any of these bourbons or whiskeys in the past, let me know what you guys thought about them. But that's about it for this video. I'm going to go ahead and finish off this glass with my dinner. And as always, stay safe out there, keep the rubber side down, and I'll see you on the road. Bandit out.